welcome to today's live workshop. We'll just wait a minute for a couple of people to come in, and then we'll get cracking. But today we're going to be trying to start making one of these. So this basket is made out of newspaper, something as simple as this can be made into something quite useful. So the first part of this whole workshop is going to be focused on how we make the straws which put these together. So as you can see quite closely, they're all round straws rather than the basic folding of newspaper. I'll show you how to roll those, and then I'll show you how we can colour these, so you don't have to have a white grey kind of basket. You can think about how we're going to colour these in the future, and then we can start weaving. So I hope you've all got your newspapers ready and enjoying the sunshine outside. And so what I would say is, with the newspapers, when you start off, obviously I chose this particular newspaper because it's got staples in. I don't want people to be put off by that. So you can't just literally, if you go to the middle page, be careful and unpick the staples, or you can just rip it out. Why is it when you try and do things in front of people, it's never as easy as it first looks? There you go. I've got here as well, I'll show you an example of trying to use magazines as well, because you can do that. That creates a colourful basket like this, but the thing is with this, it's quite stiff when you try and weave them, so it's probably more difficult if this is your first time doing anything like this. So first of all, we grab a piece of your newspaper, just one at a time, and then hopefully you've all got either a skewer or a knitting needle. It's just something about that width. You want something with the same width all the way down and something straight. Try and, if something's warped, it won't roll as easily. And then I'll just show you how we start rolling these straws. So, and I'll show you different effects you can get. So you need an angle. Start from the bottom, and then it needs to be at an angle like that, so not about 45-degree angle, so half of the right angle, like that. And then you roll it around and push it. It does take a little bit of getting used to, like the whole pushing the straw through. And then as you roll, straighten up your paper, and then you can pull the skewer through. The next one I'll do a little bit closer up so you can see a bit easier. Pull it out, roll, pull it out, roll. And then for first attempts I would suggest pritstick or PVA glue. It just takes a bit longer to dry, doesn't it? If you're finding it hard to keep it tight, if you put a little bit of glue dotted across, and then when you roll, it'll keep it in place. Like that. You roll those up. But when you get better at rolling, slowly but surely, you literally only need a little bit of glue on the end. There, like that. Make sure you get right into the corner of your newspaper. And there you go, you got your first straw. And this is what the baskets are going to be made out of. So I'll just go over that again. I'll do a few of these, and then I'll show you different ways we can do it. Again, it doesn't really matter, because when you roll them up you can't see the holes in the middle, so it doesn't matter how, try not to poke yourself in the eye, be careful. It doesn't really matter about the holes in the middle of the paper. So just going to grab this again, and then we're going to roll it. I'll do it closer this time, like I said before. Hang on a minute. Move those over there. So, just so you can see, I've never done it in the air before, but we can try. So it's like that, and then you roll it down like so. a lot harder doing it in the air. And then I'm going to carry on doing it like this. Don't do it too tight, because sometimes your skewer might get stuck inside. So we'll roll this again. Hope that you're all enjoying this lovely sunshine at the moment. It's something that I never thought we'd have a summer like this, which is nice. But it's quite nice in times like this to try and just a bit creative, and hopefully we'll get some really amazing straws at the end of this session and start weaving. That's the plan. I've closed all the windows so you can't hear the sheep making noise outside, but it's very hot in here. I'm just going to go again. So for the base of one of these, I would say you need, well, there's 4 that way and 4 that way, which go over the top of each other. And then you need to start doing the swirl around them. So if we begin to make these straws, and then when I've probably got about 12, I'll show you on the next step what we do. So the first time I ever made these baskets was for I went over to Haiti, and I taught children over there how to weave baskets. And the idea was to have something which we'd usually throw away as rubbish, but we'd be able to make something out of. So for those who are joining us now, trying to make one of these, so I'm just going to recap on how we roll these straws again. So you need to start from the corner at about a 45-degree angle and wrap a skewer or a knitting needle around, something which is smooth, wrap it around and then roll it. Then once it is halfway down, then pull it out, and roll again, pull it out, roll again. And you do get quite quick at it. But I'm assuming if any of you are doing it right now, the first time I did it, wow, I was a bit slow. And again, if you're struggling, I'll show you how you can glue along the way. Sorry, I've just put the newspaper on the floor so it's not in the way. This one's got a bit of a tear in, but it doesn't matter. Roll that up. With this one, I'm just going to show you again, get your pritstick, a few dots, and then it might make it a little bit easier for you when you're rolling up your straws. So here, so you've got a tear, doesn't matter, straight over that, and it's already covered. So don't be too precious about what your newspaper looks like. It really doesn't matter. I would say damp old newspapers probably aren't the best, because you want quite a sharp edge and corner to your straws when you're making them. So how many have we got so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh. Halfway. And then I'll show you what to do next. I'll leave this in view so people know what we're making when they join us. My hay fever's been terrible with this whole beautiful sunshine comes hay fever, so I apologise about the sniffing all the way through this video. Hopefully it won't be too bad. You'll see this one, depending on the angle that you roll, depends on what kind of patterns you end up with. So see, this one's got a bit of a, doesn't matter. If you look close up at this one which I made, you can see there's slight bits of print, But if we're going to think about painting these, then it doesn't really matter really. But if you look on YouTube and things, they've got these different basket weaving techniques, and some people have dyed them like brown, and they look like wicker baskets. I would suggest for your first ever one, this size is quite a good size to go to, because if you do anything small like a pen pot or anything, they can be quite stiff and a bit fiddly, and I think the bigger you go, the easier it is to weave, but obviously it's just more time consuming. Rolling it out again. Hopefully you've all got the technique now. Got hair in my eye. Careful with the there we go, the staples. I'm going to just show you with a knitting needle. So with a knitting needle, because they come with this on the end, just it's a little bit harder to roll. So I would suggest almost doing over the end of the table. So this bit's at the end of the table. Let me roll. Because if you do it like this, oh no, it kind of works with this one. And this needle I've used before kind of make a clunk too many times. So just do that. Pull it out. If you do get your skewer or your needle stuck, you just have to unravel it, unfortunately, and start again with that particular one. I'm just going to put this back on my board so then it's all on the table. Go right up to the edges. There we go. Oh, that one's lost. I find it easier to use a skewer. Everybody has their own little preferences though in this. And if the straws you're making are quite fat, that's okay. Just try and keep them consistent. So if they are fat, keep them all fat. And they'll be easy to thread into each other. Roll it again. So start at the bottom left corner. I think if you're left-handed, it works on the right, like I just did the last one. Not sure how you'd roll. It's hard to think a bit like a left-handed person when you're not left-handed. God, it's only taken me 10 minutes to do these. That's not too bad, is it? So hopefully we'll get into some weaving very, very shortly. I doubt if any of you have been able to keep up though. But we can always go back if anyone's struggling and go through how to make the straws. Oh, hang on a minute. There we go. Right, to the bottom again. Sniffing in again. Sorry. Right, and you roll it up. You don't. So let me show you. If you do it this way, so you want the angle to be like that. Yeah. If you do it like this, I'm going to do one which is wrong, so you can see the difference. Well, I guess there's no wrong way. It just makes life a bit harder when you come to weaving. Right. Just roll it like this. The layers of paper that roll round become very hard. So, let me show you. Right, so this one, it's almost, that's me trying to bend it. See, when you bend it, it almost snaps. I'll put that one over there. Whereas these ones, they're a bit more pliable, you know, they're a bit more flexible. And the longer they are, the further they're going to go in the weaving. Right, so how many have we got so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just do a few more, and then we'll start the base of the basket. I find when doing the basket that sometimes it's easier, oh there we go, to make as you go almost. So rather than doing 20 straws all at once, do a few and then see how it goes. Ooh, itchy nose. Okay, and pulling in the skewer through. Use all your fingers. It's quite relaxing really. Bit of pritstick. Again, if you haven't got pritstick, you can use PVA. Just normal PVA glue is absolutely fine. Or if you really want to delve into the cupboards, you could use flour and water. Just mix it up into a bit of a paste. I know flour's a bit of a hard thing to get hold of. I think it's more accessible to get a bit of a glue stick at the moment. So, but any of those, absolutely fine. But you might need to let them dry a little bit. But in this weather, it shouldn't take you too long to let them dry. So I'm just going to roll this one up. Go. I've forgotten how many I said now. Was it 8? Just do 3 more. My memory is terrible. It might look all tidy from where you're sitting, but where I am, there's a lot of things around me. So hopefully it'll have a bit of fun later in the painting side of things. Okay. Roll this. Making sure you're keeping that angle. Very pretty flowers on this particular page. My guide to flowering shrubs. Some very posh houses. 4.75 million. See, so that one I got carried away reading the newspaper, so it unravelled. So we just go again. Start from the beginning. Wrap it round. Again, if anybody's doing this with small children, I would say cut off the end of the skewer. Just sand it down a little bit because it's quite sharp. Don't want anybody having any accidents. And yeah, it should be okay other than that. Okay, don't worry about the rip in the middle. Just trying to keep a balance of the paper. Sometimes when it goes wrong and you have to restart, it bends the paper in such a way that it just makes it a little bit more difficult. So sometimes a new bit of paper works well. Right. 1. Hopefully you're getting the hang of it though now, and you can hopefully roll them okay. If anyone's having any problems, let me know, and I'll try and give you some advice on how to do it. So again, thinking about the angle at the beginning, and then rolling that. Trying to keep it quite tight, and then pull it, but not too tight because you need to be able to pull it out, and roll it again. And pull, roll, pull. Sometimes, so I do with my fingertips quite a lot. Some people find it easier to kind of just push it. I went too far there. So just push it like that. That can work quite well. Okay, and on the end again. One more. Made quite a few of these baskets, obviously for the lessons I did, and they're really handy, especially for art supplies. I end up keeping my rubbers in this one. That's what this one's for. Rubbers and bits of old pencils. So I didn't make it just to show you. They are actually usable objects, which is quite handy really. And they're quite solid, so by the end of this, there's nothing that's going to make that come apart. It's very solid. Right. Pull that out. So hopefully all of you have got all the supplies you need, really, because like I said, so you can use pritstick, you can use flour and water, you can use PVA glue, you can use newspapers, or I'm just going to show you an example of a magazine so you can see what different effects you can get. So just get this magazine. I won't use a front cover, so I'm just going to go halfway. Pull out this. Oh, some lovely recipes in here. Tiramisu, panna cotta. Fancy. Right. So, if you want to do it with a magazine, again, it's the same principle, same angle at the beginning. It's a bit more slippery. I find it a little bit more difficult to get going. There we go. And then pull. These magazines don't really have an edge. So what makes the newspaper ones white and this particular one white is the edge, the border of the actual page is white. So that's the colour you're going to get. This bit was over the border, so it made it red. So I'm going to, that's a bad example, sorry. Let's see if I can find a page which hasn't got white borders. Oh. I'll do it with the front cover just to show you. Ooh, very hot. 20 minutes. Right, I do think we should get started on this next section. So, doing the same as before. With this being the front cover, it is a lot stiffer. But you can do the same technique with crisp packets or something like that. And you get a very similar effect. Just if you want a different kind of look to the basket. So there we go. So if you use something which is colourful, you can get something like this. So that was just the front cover. So compared to the newspaper, where you'd get this, and you can control the colour obviously with this. And oh, that's unraveling a little bit. Whereas this one, the colour is decided for you because of the newspaper. And hopefully you've got hands like mine covered in black ink. If not, you haven't made enough. So, I'm going to go through the first step of how you weave. So here are all the straws which I've made for you today. And we want to look at the base of this. So in the base of this, there's two there, so 4 crossing this way. And then 4 crossing over this way. And I'll just show you how we do that. So we need 8. I've done a few more than I thought. We need 8 straws in total. Okay? So we cross those over like that. Just make a big cross. Okay, and this bit is a little bit fiddly, so you might need a helping hand off somebody. So I'm going to put 2 underneath one of them. I'm going to put the other 2 underneath this one. It will roll around and you just have to be patient. Really jam them in. And now if I show you, you'll probably understand what I mean by 2 over, 2 under. Again, don't poke yourself in the face. Hopefully I'll be able to pick this up and show you what I've done without losing it. No pressure. It's the thing for these lives, isn't it? Right. Hang on. Doesn't want to stay up with it. Let's find a better way of doing this. push those together and down. Right. So it should look like that. I hope you can see. I'll show you again close up in a moment. So those go like that. Ah, that's easier, isn't it? Like that. Yeah. And then we're going to grab one of these straws that you've already prepared, and then you're going to fold it in half. Doesn't have to be exactly half, don't need to get your measuring tape out or anything. Fold that in half like so. Right, this is the hardest bit of it, so hopefully get your head around this, and if you need somebody to help you get it started, that's fine. And then we can push on, which is the best, which is pretty easy really. So we've got your, that goes round 4 of the straws, so like so. See, so that one there has gone through 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Sometimes colouring these can make it a little bit easier for you to keep track of which one's which. But I think if we start making, and then I'll show you how we can colour afterwards. So with weaving, the key concept really is under and over, under and over, under and over. So what we have originally on the top here now needs to go under the next one. So the 4 I have here, bring this back a little bit. The 4 I have here, so this bit, now looks like it's got 5 because that one's crossed over. So this one that I sandwiched in between now needs to go under and round these. Oh, going all over the place. It's okay. Right. Go under. And then what's this one going to do? It's going to go over. Hopefully you can keep up with this. So this one now, that's gone over, now has to go under these next 4 here. Like this. Right. Under. Really try and squeeze them together as much as you can. It can help if you have pegs, if you're struggling to hold them. Some clothing pegs. Don't have any of those. Don't have any hat to hand. And then push that together. Right, so now your straws should be getting quite short. So I'm going to show you how we extend those. So you get your straw. So each end has either a point, or it either goes down like that or up like that. So this one has got the point, and this end goes in. Yeah? So the point goes into there. So kind of pinch it a little bit and push in. And then you give it a bit of a wiggle, and that's it. Sometimes they don't like to fit because they're slightly different sizes, but we had a good one. I don't think this next one's going to work, so I'll show you how we fix that. To that one like that. Give it a bit of a wiggle. Right, so this one now, very long, is going to go under these 4 and round. Oh, see, it came undone. I could just feel it was going to happen. You get a little bit of a knack for these. So that goes round. Oh. Goes back into there, like that. So actually, I'm going to put a little bit of blue on here and slip that side. Other end. Got all shaky. Right, and if you're still having problems, I didn't bring scissors. I've got a craft knife here, but you can use scissors. So we just put it to a point. Just be careful not to cut yourself. And then hopefully that'll slide in. This does happen quite a lot, but hopefully it should work now. Go, and if anybody's really struggling, get a little bit of masking tape or even a bit of sellotape and wrap it round. So that bit now goes under. Just going to show you this first bit of this weave for today because we've only got 15 minutes left, and then I'll show you how we can dye the straws. So for next time we'll continue making the basket and I'll show you how you can incorporate different colours into the basket. Right, so this one goes over. Right, so you should have something that looks like this. So you've gone over 4, there, over 4, here, that top one and the bottom one obviously. Now you're going to do the same thing again. So under 4, over 4, really push it down, under 4, over 4, under 4, and over 4. There we go, that was attractive, wasn't it? Right, so now we've gone round, no, not quite twice. And go round again. There we go. 4, over 4, under 4, over 4. So now we've gone round twice. We have something which looks like this. Yeah. Tuck that back in. Something just came out there. Right. So now, because we don't want a square, big, clunky thing, we then separate the 4s into 2s. So it won't be that one. So get each of the cross sections and split them off so there's 2 in each one. Like so. So it should look like this. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And these are the straws that you're weaving with. Okay? Right, so we're going to go, this one was under, so always stick with the same thing first. So if you're always going over first, always go over. So over first, and that one's under. So first, over, that one's gone under. First, over, that one goes under. What have I missed there? Sorry. It's always difficult trying to explain what you're doing at the same time. So, over. One's over, so that one's got to go under. That one's under, so that's got to go over. That one's got to go. Ah, there we go, I found it. Backtrack a little bit. There we go. I do think it's easy to go under first though, to be honest. Under, over. Under, And you're going under 2 and over 2 now, rather than over 4. So we get something like this. Oh, that's the glue gone. I'm going to move that out of the way before I hurt anything. Over. So now we've gone round everything twice. Like so. Oops. Slide that back in there. If anything comes undone, just slip it underneath something which is tight. Right, like so. And then push everything down. And like we did with the 4s, we're now going to go round with the 2s twice. So we've got this now. Over. I'll just quickly show you. So if we leave that like that for now, I'm now going to show you for the last 10 minutes how we can colour these. So that next week we can start introducing colour into the baskets. Or you can prepare some straws yourselves and then come back over to it. So I'll leave it like this and I'll show you how to continue and probably even recap how we did this beginning bit again, because I know it's a little bit tricky. Right, so we've got the straws. There's lots of ways you can approach this. You can use, I'm going to use, you can use inks. So these are just drawing inks, different colours. You can use pens if you really want to. You can colour them in. You can use just like, I think these are watercolour. That was just first thing I grabbed. Doesn't matter, acrylic paint, mix of it. But you want something which is a bit of a wash. So for this, I think I'm going to go for something greeny because I've got a thing for green. I've got some green here. Oh, balance and not fall off your chair, that would be embarrassing. And then if you pour a little bit of water, I'm going to spill this everywhere, into something, or you can mix it straight into a glass. And then add a bit of ink. Obviously the more ink you put in, the darker it will be, the brighter it will be. Which paintbrush? Use this one. So give it a bit of a stir. Can always test it on something. I'm sure you test it on this box, see what it looks like. See, it's quite a wash, which is what we want. So you can just colour your straws in this. Like I said, people have before dyed them brown, and they can look like wicker baskets. But I'll go over how we start it off again next week, and then I'll show you how you can incorporate the colours. But now you've got the basic technique on how to make the straws, hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to squeeze into the 45 minutes. There we go, so just going to colour that one in. If you want something a bit more vibrant, you could always use, I would say that you need to use a water-based paint, sorry, if you want to dye them before you weave. So if you want there to be different colours weaving into each other, I would say do it before, like this, because it's not going to make the paper crusty. If, say, you want something quite solid, so like using an emulsion or an acrylic without watering it down, then I would say you should probably paint it afterwards rather than before. Do a blue one as well. Don't know what colours I'll end up bringing next week, who knows. Right, just pour a bit of water in. And then just a little bit of ink. Again, it just depends how much you want. And the way I'm doing this with ink, it's the same way you would do it with anything else really. Just water it down. So you've just got a nice wash. Like so. But before you weave with them, you really need to make sure they're dry. Oh, it's quite a nice colour. I do like blue. I'm not a very colourful person in general, as you can tell by what I'm wearing. But I do like blues and greens. But you could, I would say stick to 2 colours if you want. And I'll show you how we can use that. Or you could go completely mad and go a bit rainbowy, and I'm sure you could get some really interesting things. But the idea would be, on the end of each of the scissory straws, you would put the same colour. And I'll show you that next week. See, you've just got a nice light wash on those. I'll show you something which is a little bit lighter, so you can see what kind of effects you can get with something like yellow. I've made a right mess of my hands, all mucky. Right, so I'm going to put a bit of yellow in this one. Show you what lighter colours look like. Brush. Yeah. This brush is so old, it's got all tape around it. Right. So I'm just going to, with the lighter colours, as you'll see on this one, it somehow doesn't go as bright. There's nothing wrong with the way it looks, but it's because it's not a white background, because the newspaper's a bit grey, they just look a little bit muddier almost. So I would say go with something a little bit bright. Like the blues look quite good. I think red looks great. I'll do one last one with red. Have I got one made? No. Quickly make one. Okay. You can colour all of them the same colour, which makes it a lot easier to weave. Depends what you want to do. Or you can colour them all in different ones. Quickly show you one last one. How quick we did it at the beginning. I really thought that there was a chance that we would finish a basket by the end of today. Time has flown by. But it is a 2-part tutorial. I nearly knocked that off. That's not good. There has been evidence of me making a mess of the carpet. Right, so just roll this last one, and then I'll show you. Where did the glue go? It's down there. Show you the red as a colour, just so you can really think before next week how you want to dye these straws and how you can make the bowl that you want. Again, you can add these washes onto the actual end product if you'd like to as well. My glue. Put that on. Right, so just show you this last one for the red. Don't forget to take your stick out. Pour a bit of water in there. And then the red ink. Again, you can use acrylic, watercolour, anything really. Doesn't really matter, you're just watering it down. Obviously the less, I'm going to use the same brush as I used for the yellow. Doesn't really matter. The warm colours I don't think work as well. I think actually I need a bit more ink in that one. Need a bit more to make it pop a little bit. There you go, that's a bit better. Go. It's got a bit of a pinky colour, which is quite pretty. Okay, so that's the way that the colours look. The yellow's gone almost green, and I didn't use the same paintbrush for that. But the blues and the greens have stayed quite vibrant. Again, it's up to you, personal choice. But for next week, we'll be using coloured straws. Now I've shown you how to colour them. And I'll show you again how to start off your weaving basket, and hopefully we'll be able to zoom through and show you how to finish it. Right, hope you've all enjoyed yourselves and have a lovely afternoon. And I'll see you next week at 1 o'clock again, and it'll be just continuing on different basket weaving techniques. So hopefully you'll all be at the same stage, similar to this, whether you can use your coloured ones, or you can use your just newspaper. Okay, thank you very much everybody, and I'll see you all next week. I'll come and finish that. Bye.